Hey, what's going on, guys? Room Gaming here, back in another video. Today's episode, we're going to quickly go over what gambling is in Diablo 4 and the currency that kind of drives gambling in general. So, gambling is a way that you can kind of target farm both uniques and mythic uniques in Diablo 4. So, both uniques and mythic uniques are going to be special items that essentially allow builds to, I'm kind of doing air quotes here, come online. It makes them viable. So each build in this game has a game defining or build defining unique or mythic that you need to get to make it kind of work, right? And that could be from like energy regeneration, mana regeneration, just like the dynamics of how that specific spell works, things that make abilities recast multiple times. It could be literally anything. But main thing is just know that each build's going to have one of these mythics or one of these uniques you have to get. So these uniques, so anything that's a mythic, right, could be like just a random drop off a boss. You'll also get a mythic from the seasonal quest line. So if you press U and you come to your season tab, you go all the way to the end, you can see that if you complete this last chapter, you will get a resplendent spark and you can craft a mythic as well. Now, uniques, on the other hand, are like a step down from mythics, and those are typically going to be target farmed off specific bosses. Now, you might not be able to, for whatever reason, you might target farm a specific boss and you can't get that unique to drop. That's kind of where gambling comes in, and you can spend a currency called Obols, and you can come in here and you can try to target farm that specific item that you're after. So let's say, for example, I want a special bow that gives me a ton of energy every time I cast a specific spell, and I'm trying to target farm it. Well, you can come in here and you can use this Obol currency to target farm a specific bow or that specific bow that you're looking for, and you could spend your Obol currency and try to increase your chances of getting a bow drop that has the unique that you're after. Okay, my recording just got messed up, so I apologize if I'm repeating something here. But Obols have no other use in the game, so you can freely come in here and you can spend these Obols on whatever you want. There's no other use for them. And then there's also a cap on Obols, so it's capped at 2,000. So make sure if you're getting close to that 2,000 number that you're spending them, so you're not wasting anything as you do content. Now, I don't think by default actually that you will have a 2,000 Obol cap. I think there's other ways to unlock that. I'm not going to cover that in this video. So your cap might actually be a little bit lower than 2,000, but I believe everybody will have like at least a 1,500 cap right out the gate. So you shouldn't have to worry about this too much. Now, another thing to discuss is that the power of the items that you're gambling for will scale with your character level, right? So don't come in here at like level 4 and try to gamble and spend your Obols because you're going to out-level that really quick. I would recommend to hold on to all of your Obols unless you're going to hit cap until level 60, because you're going to be gambling for items that, you know, they're going to be low in power level, and you're just going to simply outscale them. So that's another tip, is I would just hold on to your Obols until you hit max level, because if you just do the seasonal quest line, you're going to hit 60 very, very quick, just a couple hours. Now, we talked about uniques. We talked about mythic items. They can all come from gambling, even though I believe a season or two ago that was nerfed. So it's actually a little bit harder to gamble now than it used to be to get that specific unique or mythic. Mythic gambling, I don't think is very reliable, by the way. I think unique gambling is much more reliable than mythic gambling. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're looking for a specific mythic, this might not be the best way to get it. Another thing is aspects. So if we go over here to this specific sword, you can see in orange, every third cast of puncture is poison imbued, and this is what we call an aspect in Diablo 4. So aspects can come on multiple types of gear. Aspects can come on swords. Aspects can come, on rings. They can come on boots, whatever, right? And there's a few different buckets of aspects. You have offensive, you have mobility, you have defensive, you have utility, and you have resource as well. So if I'm going for a aspect that has an offensive trait associated with it, I would come in here and I would say, okay, which one of these should I gamble for that has the highest chance to give me that specific aspect? So for example, just looking at sword and dagger, right? I know if you Google it, sword and dagger will only drop offensive aspect types. Now, if we go down to rings will also drop offensive aspect types. However, there's a catch. Ring will also drop resource aspect types. So even though that ring and sword and daggers all cost the same, it'd actually be more efficient to go for an offensive aspect through sword and dagger purchases than it would for rings, because rings has a chance to roll a resource aspect. And if you're not targeting a resource aspect, there's no reason to spend the obols on buying a ring. Now, a way to kind of escalate this one step further is, let's say you're target farming both a unique and an aspect. So let's say I'm targeting a unique bow that gives me plus 1,000,000 damage, let's just say. And I'm also going for an offensive aspect that I need to put on my hands that give me plus 1,000,000 damage. Well, you can actually kill 2 birds with 1 stone by just gambling on bows, because this bow has a chance to not only drop my offensive aspect, it also has a chance to give me the unique that I'm after. So typically the priority is go ahead and try to gamble for your uniques first, and then come in here and look for specific aspects, because while you're gambling for your unique, you're going to get, in most cases, the aspects that you need just gambling for your unique. Then after you get all of your uniques, then come in and say, okay, which specific item makes the most sense and costs the least amount of obols for the specific aspect type that I'm gambling for. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. It really is a pretty simple process overall. You can't really mess it up, right? You can just go farm more obols, and typically gambling is going to be something that's used more on like new characters, like at the start of a season. Once you start to get your character pretty maxed out, you're not going to be coming to this guy too much. But gambling is a great way to get a head start on your character. All right, guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. See you in the next one.